When I look back on that evening, I never imagined it would change 3 lives forever. My name is Ethan Walker, a 32-year-old project manager from Seattle. I'd been leading a community volunteer program for years, but the latest one, helping rebuild a youth center, had hit a wall. The funding had run dry, the volunteers were tired, and motivation was slipping. That's when Lena Morales and Maya Thompson entered my life. Lena, a 29-year-old social worker, had a quiet but unshakable presence. She'd grown up in a rough part of the city and made it her mission to help teenagers escape the cycles she'd seen destroy lives. Maya, 27, was an artist who used painting to heal trauma. Her community murals had brought color to some of the city's darkest neighborhoods. Both of them had something the project desperately needed: heart and vision. It all began one late afternoon in a coffee shop. I had been sitting by the window, typing numbers into my laptop, trying to figure out how to stretch a $2,000 grant into a $10,000 job. Lena recognized me from a city hall meeting weeks earlier. She approached, offered a polite smile, and asked if I was still working on the youth center. I am, I said, closing the laptop. But at this point, I'm not sure it's going to happen. She sat across from me, calm but firm. Then let me help you make sure it does. Before I could reply, Maya walked in. I didn't know her yet, but Lena waved her over. The two greeted each other like old friends. Within minutes, we were 3 strangers with a shared goal: reviving something that mattered. We met every week after that. Sometimes at the coffee shop, sometimes at the half-renovated youth center, its cracked windows and peeling paint serving as a reminder of what we were fighting for. The plan started small: raise enough money for repairs, organize local events, recruit volunteers. But every meeting grew into something deeper. Lena had this steady, grounded energy. She made people believe they could do hard things. Maya was the creative spark, always sketching ideas, designing flyers, or painting small test murals on the walls. I tried to keep us organized, making sure the ideas turned into actions. Together, we formed a team that didn't just work, it clicked. By the 3rd month, things started moving. The city approved additional funding. Volunteers began showing up again. Even local businesses offered supplies. One afternoon, as we stood inside the newly painted youth hall, Maya turned to us and said, "I still can't believe how fast this is happening." I almost said no when Lena asked me to join. I laughed. She convinced me too. Lena smiled at us both. Yes, I have a talent for getting people involved. But it wasn't just involvement, it was transformation. Maya, once hesitant and self-doubting, began teaching free art classes to teenagers. Her class became the heartbeat of the center. Kids who rarely spoke started expressing themselves through color and movement. I watched from the sidelines as confidence bloomed on faces that had once been dim. One of those kids, Aiden, a quiet 16-year-old who rarely made eye contact, had been expelled from school for fighting. Maya noticed he liked drawing. She gave him an old set of paintbrushes, told him to use art to say what words couldn't. Within weeks, his sketches were hanging in the hallway. One Friday evening, after the kids left, we sat together under the soft hum of ceiling lights. Paint cans, brushes, and laughter filled the room. I realized how far we'd come. "You know," I said, "this started as a project. But now it feels like something else. Like a family." Lena nodded. "That's what happens when people care without expecting anything back." Maya added softly, "I think we all needed this more than we realized." I didn't disagree. I'd been lonely for a long time, working too many hours and caring too little about what truly mattered. But these 2 women, one with quiet determination, the other with bold creativity, reminded me of connection's power. As months passed, our bond deepened, though never in a romantic sense. It was built on trust, laughter, and the shared belief that kindness could rebuild more than walls. We became a trio that balanced one another: Lena's empathy, Maya's imagination, my structure. When the youth center's grand reopening arrived, it was raining hard. Still, over 100 people showed up. Parents, teenagers, city officials, all gathered in the hall we transformed. The new mural behind the stage caught everyone's eye. It depicted hands of all colors reaching toward a glowing heart, painted by Maya and the teens. Lena gave a speech that made even the mayor tear up. "This center isn't just a building," she said. "It's a promise that when we come together, no one stands alone." When she finished, the applause shook the walls. I looked around, seeing pride reflected in every face. It was overwhelming. After the ceremony, Maya found me by the mural. "Remember that first day at the coffee shop?" she asked. "How could I forget?" She smiled. You both convinced me to join. I almost said no because I didn't think I had anything to give. Turns out, I was wrong. I smiled back. I think we all were. That night, after everyone left, the three of us stayed behind. We didn't talk much. We just sat there, watching the paint glisten under the lights. It was quiet, peaceful, and full of meaning. Over time, life moved on. The youth center flourished, Lena was promoted to a director role, and Maya started her own community art program. As for me, I kept managing projects, but with a new purpose. We still met once a month for coffee, to check in, laugh, and remember how it all began. Sometimes, people ask what made that project work when others failed. I always tell them the same thing: it wasn't money, or luck, or even timing. It was connection, the kind that changes people. The kind that makes you see beyond yourself. And every time I walk past that mural, I think of Lena and Maya, the two people who helped me rediscover what truly matters. We didn't just rebuild a building, we rebuilt belief, in others, in community, and in the beauty of saying yes when someone asks you to join them for something bigger than yourself.